And so any more power WTO has is not good for the planet. It's not good for people. It's good for the profits of those corporations that wrote the rules. My name is Victor Minotti with the Global Campaign to Demand Climate Justice, DCJ. The main challenges of the WTO ministerial in Cameroon last week was about bringing the demands from global civil society to the governments and the global corporations that write the rules of the WTO. The WTO is a place where all of our governments who are members of the WTO have agreed to not regulate corporations or investors or technology. And so the WTO agreements implement these restrictions on us as people, as citizens, to use our governments to assert democratic control over capital, over corporations who are exploiting the planet and creating this crazy inequality that we have in the world today. We're happy with the result because the main outcome is a collapse. I mean, usually our coalition, Our World Is Not for Sale, has been pushing for no new power to go into the WTO because of this orientation towards the rights favoring capital, favoring corporations. And so any more power WTO has is not good for the planet. It's not good for people. It's good for the profits of those corporations that wrote the rules. So we didn't want it to have any more power. So the fact that governments could not agree, part of it was because the US was so insistent on bullying the rest of the planet, like what you see right now, they've done in Venezuela, they're doing in Iran. They were doing something similar here in Cameroon, and just offering nothing, just taking. And if you're not taking that, then there'll be consequences for you if you don't go along. So often developing countries and the least developed countries, LDCs, are united against this, but this time they were more fragmented. But the demands of the US and also Europe were so extreme and so inflexible that developing countries stood up to them. India, Brazil, because I think the ground is shifting, we hope, and the world is standing up to the US imperialism. The voices of civil society have not been understood or even listened to by the WTO. In fact, it's the first time that the Secretariat told us in advance that they had an agreement with the local government to allow for us to do our normal banner hanging and little activities, doing chants inside. And yet when we got here, we were told we couldn't do it. And that was after printing the banners and carrying the banners and all these things. Every daily briefing that the WTO Secretariat scheduled for civil society was canceled by 10 in the morning. They didn't have one. So, and they literally made us go around the building into the back door with a separate entrance, and they sealed us off from the rest of the governments. So it's really unprecedented, undemocratic treatment by an organization that's facing a crisis because of its illegitimacy and its public trust. So it only made the situation worse for its own legitimacy. Well, I think you'll have an outcome where much of the developing countries are seeing the WTO as a tool for imperialist powers. I mean, when it was started 30 years ago, right? It was a different world.